So the next topic on the Camino de Santiago is sleeping bags. And I just want to remind people, if you're ever doing a Camino, please get a guide. Very handy to have a guide on the Camino that you're going to do, because it'll answer a lot of the questions. But sleeping bags. So there's all different types of sleeping bags that you can get. You can get the big warm ones. You can get the less so warm ones that are lighter, and you can get these are sleeping sheets, sheets to bring smaller ones like this. So what's the story on sleeping bags? Well, if you're going to do the full Camino, a full 40 days or 35 days of Camino, and you're staying in public hostels, so you're on a budget and you're going to stay in the small public hostels, or sorry, the public hostels that cost say €5, or you will probably need a sleeping bag. But it depends on the time of the year. If you're walking in the summer, June to August, in a lot of places it could be warm, and you might get by with a sleeping sheet, one of these sheets. When I was walking the Camino with my son, because we're the two of us, oftentimes we would stay in some hostels, say the €10 hostels, and in a lot of those I would just look up, do they have sheets and a blanket or something like that. And that's what we tended to do, so that you can have a shower. So it's just a matter of knowing the accommodation. And one thing to know about the Camino in Spain, especially there's lots of different levels of accommodation. So you can go for the public hostels, which will just have a mattress, nothing else. Some of them might offer a blanket. Just go for the public hostels, and you'll be paying €5. You'll need a sleeping bag. Or you can kind of do a step up, say, to the €10, €15, €20 hostels. And some of them will offer sheets and blankets, and it'll be little bit more comfortable. So my personal thoughts are, since I always walk in the summer, bring the light sleeping sheet. Bring this sheet, and most of the time you should not be cold. That's just my experience. And even in some of the colder hostels, I remember after Osabrero, there's a hostel in Filobal, which is just before Tria Castella, or just before coming into just after Osabrera, and it's a pretty cold hostel even in the summer, because it's kind of up in the mountains. But they all have blankets, so even though we were there with a sheet, you could just cover yourself with a blanket. So that's my thoughts on it. It is the largest thing you'll have in your backpack if you're bringing your backpack, and sometimes it can be the most heavy. It can be from 700 grams to 1 kilo, depending. So do your research on it. But my suggestion in the summer is to bring a sheet. And look, if you're staying in the more expensive hostels or in hotels or something like that, you don't need a sleeping bag. You won't need a sleeping bag. So kind of know yourself to bring it or not to bring it. But as always I say, bring as little as possible in your backpack. And that's just my advice on sleeping bags. So you'll find more information in any of these guides on sleeping bags. But just don't go over with this big heavy sleeping bag, and you don't need it. You won't need it in the summer. Anyway, God bless you. Take care. Bye bye.